Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps with Boxing Social in partnership with freebets.com, Empire Fight Store, and Forged Irish Stout. And I'm joined now with the one and only Dev Sahni. Dev, we just wrapped up the press conference with Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou featuring Tyson Fury in the front row. First of all, how surreal is it for you to be able to see not only Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren sitting next to each other at a press conference, but then we had Tyson Fury in the front row going back and forth with Francis Ngannou, who comes from the MMA world, next to Anthony Joshua. I mean, this is just, it's like we're living in like a dream world right now.
Michelle, if you'd have told me all of those things, say 6 months ago, I would have said, Michelle Joy Phelps, check her in somewhere. She has lost her goddamn mind. Fantastic. I've seen bits of the presser there. I saw Fury and Ngannou go back and forth. Incredible. And I think it's probably a good thing, really, for Ngannou that Fury wasn't mic'd, because you couldn't really hear what he was saying. And if you could hear, I'm sure he would have, you know, verbally dominated him like he normally does. Fantastic stuff, fantastic fun. And I knew as soon as Fury rolled into town, he had a mischievous look about him. He's here to cause chaos. It's knockout chaos. And if you want a bit of chaos, Tyson Fury is your man. Front row for the presser. I'm sure he'll be there at the weigh-in tomorrow. I'm sure he'll be front row, eagle-eyed, watching everything that happens in the main event on Friday.
A bit awkward too, I would imagine. I mean, let's just talk about the storyline between Ben Davison now training Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury here, the whole Fury clan. Not that there's any bad blood going on there between any of them, but the fact that there is that close friendship, that history with Ben Davison, Ben knowing Tyson Fury so well, but now in like sort of his arch nemesis is corner. How, I mean,
look, it's Ben's problem. It could be very, very awkward for him, but look, he's actually a very, very smart, level-headed guy. And so far, from the interviews I've seen, he hasn't really been drawn on that if he is put in that situation. And he's sort of crossed that bridge when he comes to it kind of thing. But it feels like he's kind of got Tyson's blessing, because I've heard Tyson being asked about it, and he says, yeah, you should have linked up with AJ a while ago. But if that fight does ever happen, and Ben Davison is in the corner of Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury, what a wonderful storyline that is.
Exactly.
The man who helped bring Tyson Fury back is now in the opposite corner.
Right.
Wow, I hope we see it. I love all these stories, these subplots, these ingredients. It's big, big stuff. Let's hope we see that fight one day.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen on Friday night, but what we do know is that there is a question mark that if Francis Ngannou is to defeat Anthony Joshua, does he sort of deserve to be put in a position to fight the winner of Fury versus Usyk? Now, granted, we already know that there is a rematch in place for Fury, but let's say Usyk, for example, like depending on whatever the outcome is, does he deserve to be put in that position?
Well, I think with regards to rematch clauses and the business side of things, leave that to the lawyers, leave that to the businessmen. I know that the fans, I'm sure, if Francis Ngannou wins, they'll be like, hey, we want to see you fight Tyson Fury again. That was a bit of a build to a rematch right there. So I don't know. You'd have to, the business side of things needs to be worked out. I'll leave that to them. Certainly not my problem. But if Francis Ngannou is able to, in his first fight, knock down Tyson Fury and come on the wrong end of a split decision, then in his second fight beat Anthony Joshua, former two-time unified world heavyweight champion, then he has all the rights in the world, for me, in my humble opinion, to challenge for all of the belts. Obviously, Joe Parker, Zhilei Zhang, Filip Hrgovic will have plenty to say about this as well.
Right.
It's just a great time to be a heavyweight, isn't it?
Johnny Nelson said to me yesterday he doesn't actually believe that Anthony Joshua wanted the Francis Ngannou fight, that he sort of feels like he was sort of put in a position by His Excellency to say, look, this is what we want, this is what we have planned, this is the fight you're going to take if you want to get the winner of Fury versus Usyk. Would you agree with that?
Not sure, because if you are Anthony Joshua and you're offered a whole load of money for essentially a novice fighter, a guy who's only boxed for 10 rounds, and you're Anthony Joshua, you're one of the best heavyweights in the world, you absolutely have to back yourself in that fight. Surely, on paper, it's harder to fight Filip Hrgović, who is an Olympic bronze medalist, right, who's been boxing all of his life. That feels like the harder fight than Francis Ngannou. Obviously, there's a lot of risk, there's a lot of jeopardy. If you lose to Ngannou, you'll be memed forever. People will be calling your names, etc. But if you're AJ, Olympic gold medalist, 2-time unified world heavyweight champion, of course you've got to back yourself to beat a novice boxer. Of course you have.
Tyson Fury apparently had a run-in with Francis Ngannou last night at Fury-Usyk's house. From my understanding, this is based on what Andy Lee said, was that Tyson ran up on him, had a few words to say. Obviously, we know that he's made some comments this week also in an interview saying that, you know, he should be on his knees, kissing my feet, thanking me for these opportunities that he's now getting in boxing. But apparently Francis didn't have much to say in return. He was just kind of like, I didn't say that, whatever, whatever. Tonight, sat here, Francis had a lot to say about Tyson. Just what do you think about the whole mix-up at the moment?
Well, I think if Tyson's approached him away from cameras at His Excellency's house, which is what sounds like has happened, if that's happened, he must be serious, because he's not doing that for publicity. Right. It's only got out there because someone's talked about it. I think Andy Lee kind of talked about what happened. That's the only reason it's out there. So he must have felt aggrieved with something that Francis Ngannou said and pulled him up on it. What happened today, that's probably a little bit of serious and a little bit of theatre. But Ngannou spoke very well today. I guess he saved his response for the press conference where only he had the mic and Fury didn't, and he was able to say some very good things. I love it. I love all of it. I just love hostility as long as I'm not involved. Yeah, that's basically it.
I'm definitely one of those people that I love a little table turn, maybe a chair thrown.
Yeah. Oh, I'm big on that. I mean, I'm always big. I've only been able to do one Derek Chisora press conference, and he really let me down. It was against Tyson Fury, and they were quite pally. I was like checking the tables were secure and everything beforehand. They were fine. They were fine.
Right. Well, it's an exciting week. We also have the undisputed fight just right around the corner as well. A lot of conspiracy talk was going around. I asked Tyson about that just a few moments ago. What do you thought about all of it? You know, people insinuating that he would do such a thing to get out of the fight. We all know. We know Tyson. We know how serious he was or is about this fight. Just what were your thoughts on that?
The conspiracy theories, I feel like that's like, it's almost like a dead subject now. Everyone has seen the cut. Everyone has seen subsequent videos of him and whatnot. Like, it was crazy that people were suggesting that in order to get out of making so much money, he decided to cut himself. This is crazy stuff. I think it was all blown out of proportion. What happens all the time in boxing. Fights get scheduled, sometimes fighters get injured, then fights get rescheduled. This one got rescheduled within like 48 hours. Just because it's Fury and Usyk, it got blown up and everyone's got their theories, which is great because everyone starts talking about the fight more and it builds it up more and more. But the ones thinking he's going away into a room and cutting himself in front of the mirror because he's scared of Alexander Usyk, it's just crazy stuff.
Right. Well, lastly, speaking of, you know, sort of building up a fight. Right now, we really don't know what's going on with Ryan Garcia. We don't know if he's sort of experiencing what could appear to be some sort of breakdown in front of our eyes, or if in fact he is doing what some other people believe he's doing, which is building up the fight, making his opponent's side of think that he's not taking the fight very seriously. From what you've been able to gather and what you've been able to say, I don't know how much you have seen, but it's kind of hard to ignore given that everybody is posting about Ryan Garcia's posts all the time. Yeah. What were your thoughts on everything?
I just thought someone needs to get around him. It all looked pretty crazy, the stuff. I saw clips of the chat with Andrew Tate as well, being taken off into the woods on some retreat. It all doesn't look good, but I don't know the kid, so I don't know if he has got that sense of humour where he's trolling. This is quite an elaborate troll, though. It's pretty deep stuff. So I'd probably lean towards maybe there's something wrong there, and those that care about him need to get around him. I would hope that that's currently the case, but not knowing him, I don't know if he's joking or not.
I don't think he's joking.
It doesn't sound like the thing. Some of the
topics.
Those are things
you don't joke about.
No, some of the topics he's raised and things he's talked about doesn't sound like things you can joke about.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, if that is the case, I'm not too sure if we're going to actually see the fight make it to April the 20th. We're hearing Arnold Barboza Jr. is preparing just in case to step in.
Broner kicked off with Bill Haney though, didn't he? I've seen clips go around like that. I don't know, what would you rather go for, Barboza Jr. or Broner? I know which one is the harder fight, and I know which one's the bigger fight. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Right. All right, Dev, well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. This was our first interview. I was going to say appreciate it as always, but this was just our first time.
Hopefully, Michelle, first of many. I'll watch all your interviews across all the platforms that you've been working on. Behind the Gloves is now gone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, but we're back, Boxing Social, so pleasure speaking to you.
Freelancing, having fun with it, going to school.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Great to speak to you, and just drink some of that when you get a chance.
Hype energy.
Hype energy. Really, really good for you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, fans.